Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News, celebrates 75 years.
Good evening, I'm Emily Flores.
And I'm Glenn Mills. Thanks so much for joining us. We do begin tonight with the latest on the legislative session.
Yes, another controversial education bill in committee today, House Bill 427, creating new guidelines for classroom instruction. The bill would prevent any member of school staff from incentivizing or requiring students to confront beliefs or morals they hold sincerely. It also outlines certain acknowledgments in coursework.
You can't assume because someone has a certain skin color that they're oppressed or an oppressor. You can't assume someone has a privilege. You can't assume someone had an awful life just by looking at their gender or just by their sexual orientation.
Critics of the bill speaking in committee say it puts more limits on public school curriculum, a curriculum they say is already inadequate in addressing America's history of discrimination against certain groups.
In Salt Lake City, protesters joining Utah lawmakers on Capitol Hill voicing opposition to a number of education bills picking up momentum this session. That does include House Bill 427. Salt Lake City Education Association calling for the rally, pointing to 4 other bills they say, quote, dismantle public education. Demonstrators saying the bills restrict academic freedom and a teacher's right to organize. They also point to one bill already signed into law. That would be HB427, allotting state funds towards private school tuition or homeschooling.
I would gladly have given up the raise that they gave to teachers without the voucher bill. In many ways, the voucher bill is going to chip away at public education.
Protesters also sharing concerns about Senate Joint Resolution 10. That would change the state constitution and no longer require state income tax be used for public education. That resolution, though, ultimately would have to be approved by voters to go into effect. We're going to hear more perspectives on this broad range of bills coming up tonight at 10.
And new at 5, a bill introduced yesterday drumming up concerns from LGBTQ plus advocates now gaining their support. Equality Utah working with Representative Jeff Stenquist on an amendment for House Bill 550. With the amendment, the bill would only ban conversation on sexuality from kindergarten to 3rd grade. It does not specifically restrict discussing gender identity and sexual orientation. Equality Utah says they no longer consider this a don't say gay bill.
In a traffic alert tonight, State Route 491 at the Colorado border now open.
Yes, Utah Highway Patrol says huge amounts of snowfall forced Colorado State Patrol to shut down the road for several days. You can see it here. Now troopers are working to clear out the cars and trucks that got stuck on the road during the closure. The truck you see here stranded after rolling over, but the good news is no one was injured in this. Meantime, I-80 from Evanston, right by the Utah-Wyoming border, shut down for dozens of miles for the 3rd straight day.
We had a little bit of a break in northern Utah, but storms still continue to move through the state.
Yes, indeed. An active pattern continues, Alana.
An active pattern for both northern and southern Utah. And we did see some complications on the morning commute due to snow. We're going to start with our live look from Bryan Head. They picked up 10 inches from the system that started down in southern Utah and pushed north. As we look at those snowfall totals, Deer Valley really complemented by the southwesterly flow, getting a foot here. Brighton picked up 9 inches. They usually do pretty well. Sundance got another 5 after 43 the day prior. We also saw Diamond Valley in Washington County getting 3.5, Alpine at 2.1, and over an inch there in Brigham City. So that system coming through with those snow showers definitely stacking up and accumulating. Also saw the snow in the grassy areas down there in St. George. Thank you to Gerard for sending this in. Yeah, we didn't record any snow at the St. George airport, but we did see it, right? There it is. It definitely melted as the sun came out, but we know more wet weather on the way for the southern portion of the state. What you saw on the satellite is that system in California. We've been talking about it nonstop. That's going to move our way. Right now, we've got southwesterly flow dropping in the cloud cover, which is very noticeable on the satellite. So as that system comes our way, we already have new winter alerts posted for a portion of the weekend. We're going to break down this winter weather advisory and what it means and the timing of that storm coming up in my full forecast. Glenn, Emily, over to you.
Alana, thank you. The Utah State Correctional Facility telling the public they are stepping up safety and security, announcing some changes today in response to inmates attacking 3 employees in a few-week span earlier this year. Now, since the prison moved to the new facility 7 months ago, UDC director saying that they've been dealing with growing pains. But he says since the attacks, they've improved communication standards for staff, and the staffing shortage is getting better.
Recruiting more staff and retaining staff better than we have in quite a few years. So those numbers are looking better. We need about 135 more full-time people until we can be out of that mandatory overtime.
He says they're working on getting more cameras for the facility. They also hope national experts will come by the end of the year to review operations.
Okay, tonight an Ogden mom worries about the possibility of eviction. The city is saying the home she lives in was illegally renovated to allow more tenants decades ago and is now pushing to revert those changes.
ABC4 Northern Utah correspondent Kate Gardner speaking with that woman and has her story tonight from Ogden.
One of those tenants is a single mother and small business owner. She says she's lived in this apartment longer than anywhere else her entire life, but is worried that the city is going to have her and her son evicted. Now, I also spoke to the property owners, and they tell me she has nothing to worry about.
Oh, I have anxiety about it.
Christina Levi lives in this fourplex.
I have to have something secure for my son.
She says she's lived here for about a decade, and after one neighbor's eviction, she's worried she could be next and wouldn't be able to secure a new apartment.
I wouldn't be making 3 times what the rent would be. Like, I don't think I would qualify for anything.
The problem? The fourplex is in an area zoned for single-family homes. An Ogden City spokesperson says the home was built in 1967, illegally converted into a triplex 3 years later, and a fourplex soon after. Former property owners petitioned the city in 1980, 1982, and in 2019 to have the fourplex approved. It was denied each time, and in 2019, the city told the owner at the time that residents needed to be notified that they would be permitted to stay until their lease ends.
It's legitimately 4 livable apartments, and I don't understand why they would not be able to make an exception, because it's been this way for as long as I know.
She says she and others in the building are worried because a neighbor was recently evicted after the property owners faced fines from the city. The owner's telling me over the phone that is true, but it happened because the evicted tenant took over the previous person's lease, which the city did not allow. But Levi says her rent will soon be increased by a few $100s a month to make up for that empty apartment.
I just want to have a stable house and know that I'll be able to, afford my place.
The property owners tell me they have no intentions of evicting any of the tenants who currently live in the complex, saying they're also doing what they can to keep rent as low as possible. Reporting from Ogden, Kate Garner, ABC4 News.
Coming up tonight at 6, Governor Cox declaring today Pamela Atkinson Day in Utah, the honor coming after decades of advocacy for people experiencing homelessness and those in poverty. In the next hour, we'll take you to the emotional ceremony.
Dylan was a reporter I work with every day. We were best friends.
Still ahead, a survivor of the mass shooting in Orlando, Florida, recovering, sharing his story of loss from his hospital bed.
And there's a live look at southern Utah. That Utah Tech camera showing snow on the bluffs in the distance, cloud cover out there. Active skies holding steady for the long range here in both southern and northern Utah. Will your weekend be impacted? Answers coming up.
And what's news to you matters to us. Report breaking news or share your story tips with us. You can contact us on the ABC4 News tip line, online at ABC4.